Climate change isn't just about, polar bears in a far distant future. It's happening now, and it's happening to people.
Human society is full of amazing achievements when we put our mind to it. Climate change can be overcome. I know it, and we can do it quickly.
This is the single most important issue of our times, but the critical opportunity and need is for conversation, communication around climate change.
We've had over 20 years of scientific consensus, international processes and traditional environmental campaigns, and unfortunately that hasn't brought on board everyone. We need to understand how you take people from feeling disempowered, disengaged and even in opposition to an issue through to actually believing that they need to be part of the solution.
Climate Outreach is a charity that was set up in 2004 and so has over 10 years of experience. It works by building on the existing research evidence and also doing our own research and consultancies and running training and workshops, and works with a wide range of organisations, NGOs, businesses, community groups and government departments to understand their specific context and how we might be able to help them to develop meaningful responses. So Climate Outreach is increasingly being seen as a leader in climate change communication in the UK, in Europe and also further afield.
And there's so much great research out there on climate change communication, but it tends to stay locked up in dusty old journals and most people don't ever get to read it. So we act as a bridge between that specialist knowledge and the wider world. One recent example of a partnership with an academic team is an uncertainty handbook. So this is to try and condense down dozens of academic papers on uncertainty communication into a series of bite-sized sections. We carry out a lot of our own social research on some of the most pressing questions around climate change communication. So why is there still so much silence around climate change? And usually this involves speaking with members of the public in discussion groups about their values and who they are.
We've done a number of informal and formal collaborations with Climate Outreach. Adam Corner's work, bringing the academic rigour and discipline, really brings a sort of robustness. Applied research, I would call it. And the work that Climate Outreach has done with focus groups, with young people, with people in different countries, really contributes to filling the gap on understanding this really complex issue.
One of the things which we've done from the very beginning, and I think makes us unique as an organisation, is working with new audiences, not just new ones, but also quite challenging audiences. We've worked right across the political spectrum on this. We're the first major organisation to work with human rights and refugee organisations. We were the first organisation to work in a really large scale with trades unions. We've done a lot of work with faith groups, and I'm particularly proud of the work that we've done with people of conservative values. As a result of our centre right work, for the first time, communicators have a toolkit, a set of evidence-based, tested language that they know will work with this audience and this constituency.
One of the groups that we work with are people who are displaced by disasters that are linked to climate change, like drought and desertification and sea level rise. And what we've found is that actually the people who move have surprisingly little input into the policies that are actually designed to help them. So what we've done is to try and put a human face on this, to gather testimonies from people who have moved as a result of climate-linked disasters.
We take what we learned from our research and our capacity building, and we share that with organizations who really want to make sure that all the great work that they're doing gets communicated in a way that's effective, because so much of climate change communication is not only ineffective but counterproductive. There are many different formats to our training. We do interactive workshops, we do consultancy services, we go to conferences where we do keynote speeches, we can do online webinars. One of the organizations that we've worked with recently is the Climate Coalition.
For the Love Of is the Climate Coalition's public-facing campaign. Climate Outreach led us into a particular creative direction, telling the story of love and loss with real hope and a positive message. The insights were probably some of the clearest and most instructive I've ever commissioned for a really compelling campaign that has reached millions of people across the UK.
What I love about Climate Outreach is that it's filling a very important gap by providing accessible resources, which I found to be extremely useful when campaigning, especially with young people who were so passionate about the issues but couldn't quite understand the complexities of the science and economics of climate change.
The value of our work is increasingly being recognised, and we're growing as an organisation. We're looking for more partnerships and new areas to explore, but it wouldn't be possible without donations from individuals who allow us to do projects that otherwise wouldn't have got funding. We believe that communication is key to underpinning the solutions of climate change, and that's what we're all about.